high school?
Yeah, well, it really all started with a Malibu outrigger when I was about 16. And that's a off the beach kind of Polynesian style sailing outrigger. And we made 3 trips out to Santa Cruz Island, me and my buddies. And it gets pretty nasty in that channel. I'd say we were lucky. We didn't know what we were doing, but we got out there and back. I've been reading and hearing about Transpac as a kid, because in Southern California, that's the big race. And then I started reading about single-handed sailors like Eric Taberley and Phil Weld. He's the only American. In fact, at 65, he won the single-handed Transpac. It's called the O-Star then. So I read all those books, and that got me all kind of fired up for ocean racing. Well, speaking of Eric Taberley, he was the guy in 1968. They had a race then. They had a Transpac race in Japan, and he just smoked everybody. He had a 35-foot monohull, water ballasted, semi-planing hull. The guy just, like I said, he creamed everybody and set the first record. And then in 1992, local sailor Peter Hogg broke the record. And I think Taberley's record was 39 days, something like that. And Peter Hogg set the record 34 days, 5 hours, or 6 hours, something like that. Yeah, the starting line is right there, Golden Gate Bridge, and it finishes in a little fishing village called Misaki, which is at the entrance to Tokyo. Well, I can go when I want because it's a record attempt, and usually the best timing is around April, sometime in April. I look for a good weather pattern when the Pacific High is set up strong and some good trade winds can develop. And then the idea is to get to Japan before typhoon season, which could be in June. So that's the weather window. Yeah, the first one was in 1997 in a 36-foot trimaran, Shuttleworth trimaran, Naya. And I had a really good run. I was on day 30, and I was less than 300 miles from Tokyo. I was going to break the record. So I kind of was getting ahead of myself, but the wind was building. I'd been through a couple of depressions, and there was another one coming. And I kind of had the whole plan to reduce sail. I had full main and spinnaker, and I was doing great. Went down below just to rest, but I fell asleep for about an hour. Woke up, I felt the boat had picked up, and I was just coming up to take the spinnaker down, and she surfed down a wave, stuck the bow, and did a pitch pole. So just like that, I was upside down. I dove back in the cabin. It was just by maybe 10 seconds I missed it. I could have thrown off the spinnaker sheet. So I went through the whole emergency procedure, which I had down, and it worked perfectly. I have an escape hatch. I went out it, took my gear, inflated my life raft, turned on the E-perf. 2 hours later, there was a Japanese search and rescue plane overhead, and they stayed in position. I was in radio contact with them, and they diverted the ship, and I got picked up. Second attempt was in the first Open 60 and famous ocean racer Thursday's Child, the Warren Lur's boat that broke the Cape Horn clipper ship record back in '89. So I bought that boat, and the second attempt was not a good one. Things didn't go that well. Weather pattern wasn't good, but the first night out, I got woke up, and I heard the back of the boat was just rattling, the rudder was just shaking, and I heard a couple of blows. Whales had come up under the boat, and it turned out they broke off half of the rudder. So I had half a rudder, which I didn't know for about a week. I kept going. I was halfway to Hawaii, and I figured that out finally. So I put into Honolulu and fixed the rudder and came back. And the next year, third attempt was in 2001, and that year I had a better run, and I was very, very close, but missed it by about 1 day. I got there about 35 days. So, and then after that, I was going to do some more attempts, but I had problems. I had some knee surgeries, I had a problem when my father got ill, and so it kept getting put off. And then I figured that Thursday Child, big 60-footer, was getting a little hard to solo. And so I wanted to go back to a multi-hull, which is really my true love anyway. So I got, this was called Spirit of Emu. It was an Australian, it's a 43-foot trimaran that was in Seattle. I bought that 3 years ago, and I've been fixing it up ever since. And next year is the year to go. Well, it's a custom Tony Granger design, built in Melbourne, Australia by Heart Marine. And it's totally custom. It's 43 foot long, 39 foot wide, all carbon fiber. There's a seal. A marine mammoth. That's what we sail for. We'll get to that, right?
We'll get to that.
We'll get to the marine mammoths. Anyways, she's made to be an ocean races around Australia. Offshore races. The guy told me he hit over 30 knots. So far I've hit 24 with ease here on the bay. I've had second reef in and she just charges. So she's plenty fast. Well, here I had Naya, the 36-foot trimaran. I'd done a lot of ocean sailing and seen a lot of dolphins come play around the boat. You know, sailors, we have a love affair with dolphins. They're wonderful, they're good luck. They've been known to save humans who are drowning. And then I saw this undercover film by this guy Sam Labuddy of Earth Island Institute. Went on a tuna boat. And this was early 90s, like 1990, 91. And in those days, dolphins were dying by the millions in the tuna nets because the dolphins, under the dolphins, the tuna swim. They swim together, the yellowfin tuna for some reason. So the fishermen for years have been circling pods of dolphins to catch the tuna. They've been dying by the millions in tuna nets. So Sam Labuddy's film documented and showed the dolphins in the nets dying. That got put on TV. It got sent to Congress, and there was a campaign for Dolphins Save Tuna, which we have today. And Earth Island led the campaign for Dolphins Save Tuna. So I saw that, and I went to Earth Island. I said, God, I want to help the dolphins. You know, this is terrible. This is happening. What can I do? Can I sail for the dolphins? I said, absolutely. So I put Save the Dolphins on the side of the boat, dolphins in the spinnaker, and I've been sailing for Earth Island to save the dolphins ever since. Actually, we're having a concert, a fundraising concert with Ramblin' Jack Elliott. He's a legendary singer, and on January 15th in San Rafael, we're going to have a concert, and people can come to that. They can donate money. It's tax deductible to Dolphin Spirit Project at Earth Island Institute. Go to my website, dolphinspirit.org. Then to learn about the dolphin slaughter, Taiji, and how you can help with that, go to the website Save Japan Dolphins, which is right up on the sail, by the way. I sail for Earth Island Institute and Save Japan Dolphins. The director of Save Japan Dolphins is Rick O'Berry. He was Flipper's trainer on the TV show Flipper, which a lot of people know. And he's the star of The Cove, that won the Academy Award. So he's our lead guy, and he's in Japan right now, and he's been going for years, documenting and raising awareness about the slaughter. So, SaveJapanDolphins.org.
Okay.
I was just there last September, and since the movie The Cove came out, which won the Academy Award, which documents this horrific dolphin slaughter at Taiji in Japan. Overall, over 20,000 dolphins and small whales are killed in porpoise every year. But in Taiji, over 2,000 every year are driven into the cove. That's why they call it the cove. They sell off some of the prime dolphins to marine parks for performing dolphins for anywhere from $100,000 to $150,000. And then they slaughter the rest. They kill them, and they sell the meat in the market, and they also sell it to schools to feed to the kids in the school lunch program. The big problem, other than the inhumanity of it all, is that the meat is highly toxic with methylmercury. It's a very strong neurotoxin, very deadly, and it's in Japan. It's had this, back in the 50s they had what was called Minamata disease. Thousands of people died of mercury poison from the Chiso chemical factory that dumped all this mercury in the bay. So they've already been through this, and we're trying to say, look, it's happening again. They don't label the meat, they don't tell the people, and they also are trying to hide the slaughter of these dolphins. They put blue tarps all over, they harass people, but after the Cove movie, and when I was there in September, we have activists, have a continual presence now at the Cove. When I was there, I actually saw a drive. They drove a pod of dolphins in. There was about 10 fishing boats in a line. They have these big long metal poles and they bang on them and create this wall of sound. The dolphins are sound sensitive, they're acoustic animals. So they get all freaked out and they're able to drive them in to this cove. They put up these nets, and I got to film that whole thing. At that time, they didn't kill them, they just took the prime dolphins and sold them through the Taiji Whale Museum brokers to dolphinariums all over the world. But later on, right now, in fact, right now, we have a whole network of activists from all around the world that are coming to the Cove. And I hear all these reports, and there's about 50 of them in the Cove right now that probably got slaughtered today. Probably all got killed. So this is our campaign to raise awareness, tell the Japanese people what's going on, because they don't know. It's been kept hidden. The government supports this with permits, and the fishing industry supports it. We've actually offered to pay them not to do it, and they said, no, we need to do this because it's for pest control. The dolphins are competition for the fish. Blaming the dolphins for the dwindling fish population, rather than looking at their own overfishing problem. Come help Dolphin Spirit. Have a benefit concert with Ramblin' Jack and Elliott. Legendary Ramblin' Jack Elliott lives in West Marin, and it's January 15th, San Rafael, Magic Boathouse. Please come. Donations will help Dolphin Spirit Project. May sail solo to Japan. Support of Save Japan Dolphins.org.